Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Fed Up, your no BS nutrition podcast. I'm your host, Kayla Marie, certified personal trainer and nutrition specialist, working with clients since 2014. After swimming up diet culture's bullshit stream for so many years, I am fed the absolute up with how miserable it's making people feel when we are supposed to be getting healthier. This podcast is here to help you gain your sanity back so you can stop yo-yoing once and for all and finally learn how to trust yourself so you can enjoy food again without fear or shame while still getting to your health goals. My aim is to teach you how to detect the BS in not just the food and diet industries, but in all realms of life, because I know that, like me, we are all just a little fed up. So without further ado, let's dive into today's episode. Hello and welcome back. Thanks so much for tuning in. We are going to be talking about why we all suck at dieting. I promise it is not you, it is me, says the diet. So why is it that we are constantly starting over? Why can we never keep, and I'm saying we because it's not just you, it's all of us. Why can we never keep a New Year's resolution till summertime? Why is the same person trying to lose the same 5, 10, 20 pounds every single year? What is going on? The very first thing that I want to mention is we have looked at studies, a lot of studies, that have kind of looked at the differences and, compared, contrasted different diets amongst groups of people. And what they have found is the best diet is the one that people can stick to. And that ultimately is different for each person and is determined by so many different lifestyle factors. One of the studies that I was looking at, I will link the DOIs and PMIDs in the show notes so that you guys can see I'm not talking up my arse. But what they actually showed was what adherence was significantly associated with having what they called a regular life plan. And I know that seems so vague, but they looked at factors like these people wake up early or around the same time each day. It's not even just early like 5 a.m., just they don't press the snooze alarm and rush off to work, right? They're eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner at appropriate times. They're going to bed at the same appropriate, proper time. So these lifestyle effective factors for these people, it seems like they just kind of have their life in order, number one. Number two is some people can go low carb and they are happy little clams. If you take my bread away, no, I will scream. Do not do it. It will never stick. So you have to be honest with the type of diet that you are trying to apply to your life. Don't try to force yourself to be someone you're not, to do a complete 180, to do things that are completely out of your norm, especially at first. And we'll talk about that. I know it seems like, I just have to have more discipline. I have to, and we want to do a lot. And something that happens is we think that doing anything less than a lot isn't worth it, right? We have to do all the things all at once because a little isn't going to make a big difference. And we want to start, I have a lot of clients that they want to start like a jump start, right? They want to do a detox. They want to do 75 hard or whole 30. They want to really dive in deep first just to, jumpstart things, and then they'll loosen the grip. And contrary to common belief, that's not really how it works. What we want to do is quite the opposite. So what we're going to look at today are 3 main areas and ways that we can make adherence to a healthy nutritional dietary plan realistic, long-term, and successful. So first, we want to look at what determines success. So a lot of my clients or people that I've talked to will say, well, I tried this diet and it worked really well. And then they'll explain the diet and, I felt really good and I was doing all the right things and I lost 5 pounds. It was really good. But then it was my birthday, or then I went out of town, or then it just became too much and I just fell off or whatever, right? So then I ask, okay, so what is successful if you only did it for literally 2 weeks. Like, people will talk really high about a diet, like, oh, it worked so well. I did so good on it. And I'm like, oh, really? Like, how long were you on that diet? Oh, like 10 days. I'm like, okay, so what worked well? Where are you determining this? And a lot of times they cut carbohydrates or something like that, so they lost a lot of water weight. So they're saying, oh, well, I lost 5 pounds, so I was successful. But now they're 20 pounds heavier 3 months later, and they don't know why. So we're going to talk about that. Something I want to read a little bit here is when I was looking up some actual numbers and studies here for you, I came across this excerpt from a conclusion that I really wanted to just read here, because everyone wants to know, what is the best diet? Just give me, an X, Y, and Z answer of what I need to do to lose weight or whatever it may be. So I want to read this to you. This is a quote here. Human beings prefer things to be simple, and therefore there is a desire to pinpoint the one best diet that solves everything. Unfortunately, things are rarely that straightforward. There is no optimal macronutrient distribution for weight management, no one-size-fits-all strategy that will suit everyone. We are told the era of personalized nutrition is drawing closer, and there may at some point be a time when we can make recommendations based on genotype. However, if this does materialize, that will not detract from the challenges of achieving dietary adherence. We have highlighted a number of evidence-based methods to achieve clinically significant weight loss, but there appears to be little weight loss advantage or difference in metabolic health outcomes between dietary approaches, and improvements in health are relative to degree of weight loss. Caloric restriction is the fundamental premise of every successful weight loss strategy, whether that is achieved by lowering fat, carbohydrate, fasting, or using meal replacements. Everything is relative, and the best diet ultimately is the one you can stick to long enough to achieve the weight loss goals that you desire. Given the seriousness of the increasing rates of obesity, it seems wise that we do not limit our options and take an individualized approach. Studies predominantly present outcomes as averages, but this hides the fact that in every study, there is a minority who achieve an excellent response. So no strategy that we have profiled should be ruled out. Although over and underfeeding studies have demonstrated variable responses to the same energy prescription, the principal reason underpinning the success or failure of dietary attempt will always be compliance. The key to improving this is not just the choice of diet. A whole host of factors influence the process of change, behavioral change. Practitioners must ask themselves not what is the best diet, but how they may optimize patient adherence to the plan. Healthcare staff seeing patients for weight management advice should possess advanced communication skills, working collaboratively with the patient to agree together on the best way forward rather than telling them what to do. Will go a long way to achieving the best weight loss outcome. And I want to also end quote. I also want to preface this by saying not just weight loss. I'm just talking about general healthy dietary patterns, but of course, everybody looks at weight loss. So this was determining the effective factors in predicting dietary adherence using an intelligent model. I'll again link the DUI below. And this is fascinating to me because all my decade of training people, it's always been like, well, what should I be doing? What should I be doing? And literally, they're coming out over and over again with the advice of the more practitioners, whether you're a trainer, you're a nutritionist, you're a doctor, you're a naturopath, I don't fucking care. The more we just tell people what to do, cut sugar, do this, do that, without addressing the fact that this person has a whole life outside of what's on their plate that influence what's on their plate, we're never going to actually get anywhere. And people want the one answer, or they are trying to, oh, I'm trying this diet, I'm trying that diet. And they're really not realizing, and I know people want like a specific answer. They want a black and white, just tell me what to do. And I don't give it to them. And I'm sorry, but this is why. It's because it doesn't work. And it's because you will end up miserable over the long haul. And it's because you will end up fatter on the long haul if your goal is losing weight. This is something that cannot be understated, okay? So we're not even going to get into what's the best diet. If you're on keto and you've been doing keto for 5 years, it's probably the quote-unquote best diet for you. Check your LDLs, but I digress. But if you try keto and you're like, dude, I hate eating this much steak and butter and protein and I just want a piece of bread, maybe keto is not for you. So let's talk about the 3 ways we can stop starting over, stop burning out and getting farther and farther away from our goals every time we try. So the first thing is we need to make it convenient. Convenient. Yes, it should not be hard. We want to make it easy. So let's look at what you already do. Let's take an objective look at your habits, your movement throughout your day, your week, who else in your household you're feeding, your finances, the closest grocery store, your habit of eating out or not. All of these things, your energy levels. Do you not have energy at the end of the day to cook dinner? I'm not going to force you to cook meals 5 days a week then. Oh, on Sunday you do family things and you prefer to go out and have fun on the lake and go to church and do all these other things on Sunday. We're not going to have you meal prep 8 hours on a Sunday. It's just not going to work for you. So we want something that's lowest possible threshold. We want it to be convenient. And I want to encourage you to look around your life now and look at where is something so small that you can start and keep doing. Because what most people want to do is they want to go 0 to 100. They want to take the frickin' elevator up to the top floor, and then they're surprised when they fall, crash, and burn. Instead of taking the stairs, instead of upshifting when you are gaining speed, right? So what we want to do is we want to start small. What is one thing that you can do today, that you can do this week? One tiny little thing that you know you can do. You're like, yeah, that's easy. You're even going to second guess yourself. You're like, oh, that's too easy. No, I want that. That's too easy. That's how it should feel at first. Then you do that thing. Doing that thing tells your brain, oh my God, I did that thing. I did that thing I said I was going to do. Oh, I'm feeling quite proud of myself. I wonder what else I can accomplish long-term, right? Or short-term, whatever it may be. So you want to build this momentum small to big. Rather, a lot of people will do a big to small approach. They try to jump into 75 hard to jumpstart things, or they try to join a gym and go 7 days a week because if I don't go every day, then I'm going to fall off the plan. No, plan 3 days a week. Plan 1 day a week. Build yourself up and start adding days, because if you go 7 days a week, as soon as you miss 1 day, then you're like, oh, well, fuck it. I already missed 1 day. Might as well just not go at all this week. So we're going to get away from that all or nothing mindset, right? And we're going to look at what is the easiest, most convenient thing that I can do. Another thing we want to do is look at these longer term strategies. If you are somebody who gets up in the morning and you are snoozing your alarm, you rush to brush your teeth, you barely get out the door brushing your hair, I'm not going to tell you to cook eggs in the morning because you're not gonna. So what can we do that's a grab and go breakfast, right? Let's stop skipping breakfast. Let's not stop going through the drive-thru because you decided to snooze and you didn't have time to get breakfast. Stop trying to think, oh, I'm going to get up 20 minutes early and I am going to cook myself breakfast. No, you're not. Okay, just stop trying to force yourself to do the hard thing. Do the easy thing. Get a pre-made protein shake. Grab some bananas and a Cliff Bar. Do the thing that you know you are going to do. The second thing is we want to be flexible. So the first thing is convenience. The second thing is flexibility. This also goes with convenience, right? But if you are not flexible, if you're starting a diet plan that has you start over every time you get off the plan, fuck that. If you are, yes, I'm talking about you, 75 hard. I'm talking about you, Whole 30, and I will have entire episodes talking about my feelings about those. But the problem, a lot of that is it teaches and it really encourages this all or nothing. It encourages, oh, you messed up, start over. That's not how life works, okay? You're allowed to be flexible. Everybody tries to implement this diet plan and then they're surprised when they don't keep it up because they're traveling for work or they're traveling for a vacation or their friends came to visit and they wanted to go out for drinks and a dinner. Why are you surprised that you have a life? So let's not be insane and try to fight against the current at every step of the way, because every time you face resistance and obstacles, you're not going to keep with it. So we want to look at, what are you actually doing right now? What changes can we make a little bit? And maybe we do have to be a little limited, or, okay, I'm going out every single night of the week, or I'm eating fast food every single day. Okay, yes, let's reel it back in. But if you're eating fast food every single day and then you reel it back into zero fast food, I'm eating every single meal at home, how long do you think that's going to last? Let's be realistic. There's no judgment here. Let's just be realistic. So instead it's, okay, well, Wednesdays or Sundays or whatever frickin' day, choose one, I'm going to cook at home all day long, or I'm going to pack a lunch, or Monday I'm going to cook dinner That way I won't go and get pizza like I normally do because it's Monday and I don't want to cook. And then Tuesday, I usually, go to the drive-thru. So if I cook on Monday and then I take, leftovers for lunch on Tuesday, that's one time cooking, 2 meals. I can manage that. So again, don't try to cook every meal. Cook one, make it, 3 meals long or whatever it may be. Or again, get some pre-made things. Let's go back to convenience. Now, when you're looking at flexibility, what a lot of people will do is, I'm going on vacation, so I'm going to let loose. So that means now I need to be overly restrictive. Stop it. Stop it. Or they go on vacation and then they come back and they're like, okay, let's go full power, full speed. Let's do it because I feel guilty and I need to punish myself. That's really that underlying reason. Don't freaking lie to me. I know why you're trying to out vacation yourself via cardio. Stop that. Instead, when you just say, I'm going out with friends tonight, and you go out with friends and you enjoy a burger and French fries, and then the next day you're back on your shit and you're back on I had breakfast, I ate some veggies today, I didn't overindulge, I didn't over-restrict. It's very neutral. And this takes practice. This is not overnight, but you start to have that flexibility and you stop overeating, you stop undereating, you stop going in these weird, crazy circles where you're miserable because you feel guilty for enjoying your life. And then you go and punish yourself via food restriction or exercise, or you sabotage your efforts and say, fuck it, I'm not going to the gym at all this week and I'm eating ice cream and ordering pizza because this is too hard. Again, tell me this isn't you. This is a lot of people. It's not just you. And after 10 years of working with people, I'm like, oh my God, this is so many people. This is what happens. Now, what they show is what leads to binging. It's not sugar addiction. It's not freaking the American food system makes us poison and we're addicted to it. No. You know what it is? It's the fact that you keep restricting yourself and then you go and binge. So we're going to be flexible. We're going to allow some family nights, some alcohol, some desserts, if that's your lifestyle. Even if that means you're having a sweet treat every single frickin' day. And some people who have a lot of issues with self-control, it's because you're restricting. So then as soon as it's in front of you, you have no self-control. So something I'll tell people to do is, and it sounds insane at first, is I'll be like, have dessert every single night this week. I want you to have dessert and I want you to sit down, put it on a plate, and you practice that self-talk, that positive, I'm allowed to have dessert, this is okay, blah, blah, blah. Also, you do this enough nights in a row and you're like, yeah, I'm kind of over dessert because also I have to eat it tomorrow. Because again, you're eating this entire, for an entire week, you're doing this. It loses its power. It loses the cycle of, I shouldn't be eating this. Oh no, well, just a little bit. Oh no, fighting. And then you throw it away. And then next time you have ice cream, you binge the whole carton because it's a cycle. Instead, you learn how to be flexible. You learn how to take it off the pedestal. You learn how to be realistic with your life. And then you can actually still be healthy, by the way, enjoy some desserts and not drive yourself insane. So the third thing, speaking of desserts, is we need to make it enjoyable. If you're miserable, 1, you won't frickin' do it. And 2, your brain actually responds, or your body responds to how your brain perceives things. So they actually show if you hand a group a milkshake, the same milkshake, you hand one group and you explain to them that it's a very high calorie, high fat, high sugar milkshake. The other group, you tell them it's a low calorie, no sugar, low fat, really healthy shake. They have different hormonal responses preparing to consume that milkshake. Ghrelin is our hunger response. Our physiology teacher used to explain it as it makes your tummy ghrelin, right? So ghrelin is the response that is like, I'm thinking about food. So you haven't even gotten food yet. That is the beginning of your digestive system, is your body saying, oh, I'm hungry. I'm thinking about food now. So if you're thinking that you're about to consume a very high calorie item and a very unhealthy, high saturated, high calorie item, ghrelin tells your digestive tract to prepare for a high calorie item. So lots of stomach acid is produced, lots of, all of those digestive enzymes are pushed out because they're like, oh my God, we're about to get a ton of calories. We've got to be able to be ready for this. Versus if you think you're getting a low calorie healthy meal, your body's like, oh, this will be easy piece of cake. No worries, guys. Literally, placebo is that strong. And when I say placebo, a lot of people get me wrong. I'll have another episode on this, of course. But placebo is not, oh, it's all in your head. It's your brain's incredibly powerful effect on your body. So what you think about your health plan, what you think about the plate or the food on your plate, what you think about that milkshake is actually going to affect your body and the health outcome, right? Which is insane. So a lot of things that we think is dieting and blah, 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 we end up, associating it with hating our life, missing out on a lot of stuff, being miserable. And what we find actually is when you can find little things to enjoy about being healthy and be genuine about those things, it's much better. So you picture the, grandma who is out gardening, walking every day. She's like super healthy. Like, why is this grandma just the epitome of health? And then you meet other 6-year-olds who like don't leave the couch, right? Lots of things could happen. Obviously, there's things that are maybe out of their control, of course. There's a lot of socioeconomic factors that have to do with health, but social determinants of health, as we call them. But what we're looking at is people who just genuinely find ways to stay active, ways to enjoy eating healthy food. They end up just doing it very naturally, very easily because it's enjoyable. You don't eat a salad because you're on a diet and you hate your life. Now you hate salads because it's a diet food. So I want you to start retraining the way you're thinking about certain foods, okay? Drinking water is not because you're restricting soda, okay? Have a soda if that's really what you're wanting. But when you start to shift into, oh, I should probably be drinking water because we're made fully of water, it's good for me, and you find ways to enjoy it, whether by flavoring it, adding some lemon, adding some flavoring, whatever, or drinking diet sodas or drinking watered down juice. I don't know. You find a way to enjoy drinking liquids that hydrate you, and you actually do it, right? So what we also find is what actually makes someone healthy. So when we talk about successful dieting, right? Or what we're kind of talking about in this. I want to be very clear about my stance, but also what we're showing in the literature so far. If you're overweight, if you're obese, you might, yes, there are some correlated, metabolic health conditions that might be correlated with obesity. However, what they're finding is as soon as that person is engaging in healthful behaviors, they're taking walks, they're moving their body, they're eating regular meals, they're getting enough sleep, they're managing their pain and their stress and their positive outlook on life and all of these things. They're getting up off the couch, they're, turning off the news or the screens, whatever it may be. They're taking steps to improve their health. Even if they don't lose a pound, they are showing that their health markers improve drastically. So there is kind of this question on, okay, yes, adipose tissue, excess adipose tissue, fat tissue, excess fat cells can inhibit insulin response and contribute to heart disease, blah, blah, blah. But there's a lot of metabolically healthy, quote unquote, obese people as well. So that's interesting. And there's a lot of metabolically unhealthy thin people out there that don't have any muscle mass. We call them skinny fat, right? And they have high cholesterol. They have type 2 diabetes. So what's going on? Maybe it's the behaviors, not necessarily the outcome or the body size. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to lose weight, especially if it's inhibiting certain aspects of your life. But when that's all you're focusing on, any of these healthy behaviors become like a chore and become miserable. And then you sabotage it because you feel like a failure or you feel like it's too hard. Instead, when you apply the aspect of we want it to be easy, we want it to be convenient and flexible, we want it to be enjoyable, we want to start small, then you start building up this momentum and you start feeling proud of yourself. What they also show is this mental stress of like, I hate working out. Working out is ugh. And you're hating your body, you're punishing yourself for this. You are like stressing your body out because it doesn't know if it's running for your life or running because you're just trying to get healthier. Versus when you're running a marathon or you're running for like that runner's high, like people who run for enjoyment, right? It's a very different experience than when people go to the gym or when they're running to like lose weight and punish themselves. So your mindset has a huge effect on how your body's response to that stimulus is, but also how likely you are to, of course, adhere to the program. So if you're not enjoying anything about it, you're not going to do it. If you think that salads are a diet food, you're never going to eat a salad just because you genuinely want a salad. So I want you to find ways that it's enjoyable, whether that's adding freaking ranch to your salad or not. And maybe over time you lessen the amount of ranch or you find a different lower calorie dressing that you prefer. But it doesn't mean forcing yourself to eat bland spinach with oil and vinegar if that's going to prevent you from eating any type of vegetable at all. You hear what I'm saying? So we want to look at behaviors. We want to make those behaviors something that we can actually do. And we'll talk a lot more about specifics in upcoming episodes. So we'll talk a lot about, okay, so if we're supposed to make this easy, what does that look like? What can that look like? What are some examples of behaviors that we can implement that won't drive you insane? We'll talk a lot about those in future episodes and looking at habit stacking. So Atomic Habits is a book by James Clear. They have a lot of stuff in, about how to actually do what you want to do. And then my other favorite author right now is Gretchen Rubin, and she has this book and this concept called the 4 tendencies. And that has to do with how you meet or don't meet inner versus outer expectations. So this is like, okay, you'll show up for a friend, right? You'll be super reliable, show up, do what you got to do for anybody else, except what's on your own private to-do list or what you want to be doing, right? Or you have some people that they just like set out to do what they got to do and they just do it. They just are like, yeah, I had to wake up early and study by myself this morning. I just did it. Me, I'm like, oh man, I got to study. And for some reason, like, I just can't freaking force myself to do it until I have a study partner who's relying on me to show up for a study session, right? So we'll talk about how that impacts how well you can actually adhere to a program and how to set yourself up for success. Stop freaking fighting upstream, swimming up current, taking the elevator upstairs and freaking making this way harder than you have to. Because as we know, if you can't stick to it, it's not going to last. So I hope that helps. And yeah, I think I'm going to end it there. Thanks so much for listening, guys. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you enjoy my content, please share it with a friend and leave a 5-star review wherever you are listening from. If you are looking for more, you can find me at KaylaMarieFitness.com or on Instagram at KaylaMarie_fit. I do offer one-to-one nutrition counseling, starting with my new client course, Nutrition Essentials, Your First 30 Days. You can find out more and enroll on my website. If you're a podcast listener, use the code CARB, C-A-R-B, for 10% off your enrollment. And if you're a weightlifter, beginner, or pro, consider joining my online Lift Club, an expertly designed 12-month training program with a community chat room, weekly office hours with moi, and 4 full-body gym routines per week. We're getting strong AF without neglecting our functionality or athleticism, and I do have month-to-month options available. I will talk at you all next week. Thanks again for being here. Bye-bye for now.